Come on, eat that, smuggler. Get the duffel bag. Oh, wait. Hello, we're Andy, the Maniacal Cinephile, and today we are discussing the new Killer Bear movie.
Not that Winnie the Pooh movie.
Oh, bother. No, we're taking a look at Cocaine Bear.
My spirit animal!
Cocaine Bear is a black comedy horror film with a poster ripping off Sin City. Unless that's how Mickey Rourke looks now. It was directed and co-produced by actor Elizabeth Banks, who previously directed Pitch Perfect 2 and a Charlie's Angels reboot. When the hell did they reboot Charlie's Angels again? Cocaine Bear was written by Jimmy Warden, who wrote the sequel to The Babysitter, after appearing in the first one, credited as some a-hole.
That was quite the promotion.
The movie is very loosely based on the true story of the Cocaine Bear, aka Pablo Escobar, that ingested a duffel bag full of cocaine.
I thought this was the biopic for Artie Lang.
The key difference is that after consuming $20 million worth of cocaine, the bear overdosed within minutes. There was no drug-fueled massacre in real life.
Well, that's disappointing.
Not wanting to waste the body of the bear, it was stuffed and given to a mall in Lexington, Kentucky, where it remains to this day.
Hey, do they call him Smokey the Bear because he's a pothead?
What? No. So let's see if Cocaine Bear blows or is nose candy. On September 11th, 1985, a corrupt cop and lawyer turned drug smuggler, Andrew Thornton, was flying and dumping packages of cocaine over Georgia. He then jumped with nearly 80 pounds of it strapped to his body.
So, I once stole 80 pounds of ham from the deli.
However, the parachute malfunctioned and Thornton fell to his death in a Georgia resident's driveway.
He ruined a game of hopscotch.
His body is identified by Bob, a local detective. He concludes that the cocaine is likely from St. Louis drug kingpin Sid White, and the remainder is missing.
And yet, he left his drug-sniffing Maltese behind.
Meanwhile, in the Chattahoochee-Oconee National Forest, a black bear ingests some of the cocaine, which grows aggressive and attacks two hikers.
We have such good luck in nature.
So that's what happens when you don't stay on the trail. The coked-out bear then embarks on a killing spree, encountering an oddball gathering of cops, criminals, tourists, and children assembled in the forest.
Later, the bear started pitching wild movie ideas to producers.
In the opening, the movie appears to use real news footage to drive home that what you're watching actually happened. However, after the first 5 minutes, everything to follow is from the mind of a Hollywood screenwriter.
Formerly, some butthole.
Tonally, the film is a bit of a mess. In one scene, the bear is making you crap your pants, and in the very next scene is making you piss your pants from laughter.
Good thing we had our popcorn bucket.
We go from being afraid of the bear, to laughing at it, to then rooting for it. Imagine watching The Ghost in the Darkness, and all of a sudden, the lions become the comic relief.
I'm more afraid of B-movie.
There are scary moments, but not enough to be a horror movie. There are funny moments, but not enough to really be a comedy. After all, the movie really only has one joke. There's a bear on cocaine.
This role would have been perfect if Chris Farley were alive.
Towards the end of the movie, there was a very awkward flashback to a character's death that either wasn't shot or was cut.
But how will I know it happened unless I see it?
I was surprised that the runtime was 95 minutes because it felt like 2 hours. The ending had too much family drama with forced humor and moments trying to be cool. The climax was a bit underwhelming.
I've heard that before.
One highlight of the movie is its eccentric, oddball characters. The ensemble cast does a terrific job reacting to these absurd situations.
Kinda seems like the thing that stays with a man forever.
We are first introduced to middle schooler Dee Dee, who lives with her mama bear named Sorry. Dee Dee skips school in order to paint the falls with her best friend Henry, who steals every scene he's in.
There was a bear!
A bear?
It was 4!
Hey, that's inappropriate.
They find one of the bricks of cocaine and ingest some after Henry claims he does cocaine all the time.
On the playground, kids call him Tiny Montana.
They spit most of it out, but there was a missed opportunity at humor there because the drug has no effect on the kids at all.
Henry was already pretty hyper.
Sorry ventures into the forest to find her cubs with Ranger Liz and her crush Peter, and more shenanigans ensue.
It won't stop, like Yogi Bear and picnic baskets.
We're then introduced to an odd couple with great chemistry. Drug lord Sid sends his fixer, David, to recover the product with Eddie, Sid's son, who has grown depressed following the death of his wife. The backstory isn't really needed, but Alden Ehrenreich has experience with that. We're then introduced to the Duchamps gang, 3 delinquents who cause trouble in the forest.
They would steal a squirrel's nuts if they could.
2 paramedics arrive and are also attacked by the bear. The ambulance chase scene is easily the best part of the movie.
What the fuck is wrong with that bear? Bear freedom!
Higher, baby, and don't ever come down.
Never let the Asian lady drive.
It was also nice to see Angry Retail Guy in a movie. Although that job at IKEA ain't looking too bad.
Beth, we should go.
This was Ray Liotta's final completed film role before his death in May last year. Liotta passed away a week after he came in to re-record his lines in post-production. It's quite fitting that a movie titled Cocaine Bear is dedicated to him. Lastly, we have old Pablo Escobar himself. Actually, herself.
Not the first time I counted 6 nipples on a crack whore.
Weta handled these special effects, and they're pretty damn good. I never once believed it was a real bear, but there were moments when the gore is uncomfortably realistic. I'm just surprised the bear from The Revenant got more work after it diddled DiCaprio. I saw Cocaine Bear at my local AMC theater where they charged me less to sit in the aisle. Before the movie, Nicole Kidman told me I was at the theater to see magic.
She was on more drugs than that bear.
I found a quarter in my ear, but it was unrelated.
When the CG bear isn't throwing CG blood around, the movie is a little bland. It's called Cocaine Bear, and it was lacking that fast-paced energy. There are so many static, wide shots. For once, I was begging for shaky cam.
Would somebody get that cameraman some cocaine?
When it was over, I felt like if Edgar Wright, known for Shaun of the Dead, Scott Pilgrim, and Baby Driver, had directed this, the humor, action, and pacing would have been perfect.
But Edward White would do that for any movie.
The movie lacks style, and not just in terms of the directing, cinematography, and editing. This is set in the 80s, but doesn't really look or feel like it.
The amount of hairspray needed would put them over budget.
It felt like there were only 2 or 3 classic songs on the soundtrack. Imagine a bear chasing someone to I ran so far away by a flock of seagulls.
Hey, maybe that can be the sequel, Cocaine Seagull.
So, should you bump in line and see Cocaine Bear? With a title like that, this is one of the few times you'd want a movie to be bigger, dumber, and louder. This would have been better if it were made in the 80s when filmmakers were on cocaine.
They've been using bears to promote Coke for years.
The tone and energy needed to be outrageous. For all its flaws, it does deliver on its title. There is a cocaine bear, and it kills people. It's not bad, but I saw so much potential for this to be better. For what it is, I did have some fun seeing it. So, give it a sniff. Or better yet, go watch The Edge. We've been Andy, the Maniacal Cinephile.
Thanks for liking and subscribing.
We'll see you next time.